Mom crashed my baby shower. With a shocking secret, you won't believe what happened next. The air was thick with the scent of vanilla and roses as guests milled around my beautifully decorated baby shower. Laughter and warm chatter filled the room. Balloons in pastel colors floated above the table, where a stunning cake with tiny baby booties sat, untouched. This was supposed to be one of the happiest days of my life. But the moment my mother walked in, the air shifted. The joyous atmosphere turned icy in an instant. She stood at the doorway, her expression twisted in disdain, her eyes scanning the room before they landed on me, on my swollen belly. I barely had a second to react before she spat out words that shattered my heart. "You think you can give birth before your sister? Never! The only real grandchild is hers," she declared, her voice laced with venom. Gasps filled the room. My hands instinctively went to my stomach as a protective shield. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My own mother denying my child before it had even taken its first breath. Beside her, my sister Olivia leaned against the bar, sipping her wine with a smirk. Her perfectly manicured fingers twirled the stem of her glass as she watched the scene unfold. "No one needs an unwanted child in this family, right?" she taunted, her lips curling into a wicked smile. Tears welled in my eyes, but I refused to let them fall. I had spent my entire life in Olivia's shadow, always second best, always overlooked. Even now, as I carried a new life inside me, she was determined to steal everything from me, including my right to be happy. Then, before I could move, my mother did something that made my blood run cold. She lifted her foot toward my stomach. Sharp cry escaped my lips as I recoiled, my hands flying to shield my unborn child. Pain shot through me as I curled up, fear gripping me like a vice. And then, a low, commanding voice sliced through the air. "Touch her, and you'll regret it for the rest of your life." Silence fell over the room. My mother and Olivia turned, their faces drained of color. My heart pounded as I looked up, my breath catching in my throat. It was him. My husband, Ryan. He stepped forward, his jaw tight, his piercing eyes burning with fury. The power in his stance, the raw anger simmering beneath his controlled exterior, sent a chill through everyone in the room. He was not a man to be crossed. He moved swiftly, placing himself between me and the people who had spent my whole life making me feel like nothing. His presence was a wall, a shield, a force they couldn't reckon with. "How dare you?" His voice was low, deadly. "This is your daughter. And that child? That child is your grandchild, whether you like it or not. You have no right to even be here if you think you can harm her." My mother stammered, her lips parting and closing as she struggled for words. Olivia looked furious, but for the first time there was a flicker of something else in her expression. Fear. Ryan's hand found mine, his grip firm, reassuring. "I suggest you leave," he continued. "Right now, before I do something that will make you wish you never stepped foot in this house." The tension in the room was suffocating. No one moved, no one dared to breathe. And then, without another word, my mother turned sharply and stormed out, dragging Olivia with her. The door slammed shut behind them. The room was silent for a long moment before my best friend rushed to my side, her eyes full of concern. "Are you okay?" she whispered. I took a shaky breath, my hands still trembling. But when I looked up at Ryan, at the unwavering love and protection in his eyes, I knew. I was safe. I was finally free. As I wiped my tears, I turned to the guests, many of whom still looked shaken. I straightened my shoulders. "I'm sorry about that," I said, my voice steadier than I expected. "But let's not let their ugliness ruin this beautiful day." A few guests hesitated, then slowly applause broke out. One by one they came back, to life, laughter bubbling up again, conversations resuming. And as Ryan led me to sit down, his arm wrapped securely around me, I realized something. This was my family now, the people who loved and cherished me, not the ones who tried to break me. And no one was going to take my happiness away ever again. If you love this story, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to support more engaging and heartfelt content. Your support means everything.